Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Up right in corner, we got Firetip starting as the Teal Protoss. Bottom right in corner, we have Thrive starting as the Yellow Terran. I don't believe we got games with Thrive in it in the first round, but this is the 0-1 matches from... So we're now in Swiss round 2 of Hasuleauge. I think I have, as of this commentary on Twitch, moving forward, kind of doing the weird time warp thing for myself. This is going to be... So I've likely started uploading Hasu and Gosu League stuff simultaneously. I'm not sure what Gosu League's in the space of this. I will say, as of casting this on Twitch, I'm still waiting for them to play out the round of 8. So we'll see. I think Hasu League might be pretty close to finish on the opposite side. So there might be a space where there's no Gosu League briefly, and then there's finishing out Hasu League. So we'll see how it plays out overall. By the way, this is probably deep into the future, like a month after. I do recommend checking out the Pro League finals if you have not already. At least, and some of the matches going up, there are some pretty solid matches all the way through. But I want to say congratulations to the winner without spoiling it right this second. Although after a month, it's likely spoiled, but I digress. Anyway, it looks like we have a supply depot built along the corner, an interior-based gateway here for Firetip, which suggests he's going to play a little bit more defensive here to start, rather than going for early economic aggression. Initial probe is making its way towards the left-hand side of the map, and we do have the barracks constructing along the edge, looking to see if Thrive is going to grab that gas momentarily. Is getting that gas around 136. And we do have an assimilator plop down here for Firetip, so it doesn't look like it's going to be a one gate into expand build. And going cross-map scout, interestingly enough, that actually surprises me. So going for a cross-map scout off a gateway, is he going to skip the initial zealot? That'll be my curiosity now. So it looks like he does want to go for cybernetic score before zealot here. So there's the cybernetic score. We'll wait for the next 100 minerals. This is kind of the zealot that allows you to apply pressure to Terran and sometimes keep them honest in initial stages, although there haven't been any scout from Thrive as of yet. And it looks like 100 resources have passed, so Thrive going to go ahead and drop an additional pile and try to go straight into Dragoon here to start. One advantage of doing this is your Dragoon numbers end up a little bit higher. The disadvantage of doing this is if Terran decides to reduce the Marine count early, they can oftentimes sneak an earlier command center in the space of this. So we'll see how it plays out. In the meantime, Firetip going top left, so unfortunately not going to get the scout, and Thrive getting first scout on top of everything else. Dragoon is queued up, and the lack of the zealot on the field should be an indicator here to Thrive. He is proceeding to go with the 3 Marines regardless, and has got that factory building. Only a single SCV on gas in the midst of this though, so he isn't drawing any SCV off gas. Wondering if he's going to drop. So sometimes what you want to do as Terran in this space is drop an earlier machine shop rather than initial Marine, because you know those Dragoons are going to be coming out a little bit more rapidly. The 3 Marines are plenty to deal with the first Dragoon. You need that bunker up past that, and then you'll need a little bit of force. Yeah, going to go ahead and drop that machine shop first. So nice adjustment right there. And I hope this SCV's sidling out to go ahead and get that bunker in place. He's going to go command center and then bunker. Brave. Very, very brave. Range about a third finished. And a manor pylon here from Firetip at the 3 o'clock location. Now it's possible this is an anti-drop pylon to sort of scout things out, but I have a feeling this is in fact going to be... So this SCV is going to be huge now for Thrive. It looks like it's making its way back towards the main. If it can stay out on the map and keep an eye on the Dragoon numbers, that will be absolutely magnificent. It looks like we have a second and third gateway drop here now at the 3 o'clock location. So effectively, Firetip is showing, he's demonstrating, as though it looks like it's going to be Mines, Siege Tank, and then Vulture, by the way, in the space of this. He's demonstrating as though he's going for an expansion. He even has a probe in place just in case. Thrive, however, able to go to the 3 o'clock and scout this. Huge. Absolutely huge. And now knows he needs to get a bunker down for sure. Likely invest in siege check, and the initial mines need to plant on the front. There are 2 Dragoons boarding the field and should probably queue up additional Marines. Yeah, it needs to get as much defense out in the field as possible. Firetip trading what he can. And are the boys pulling in the space of this? The 4 Marines, the Vulture, and the Siege Tank actually able to pick off 1 Dragoon. 2 of the Marines have already swatted. These Dragoons, are they going to move out to the 3 o'clock location to try to... It looks like going to drop it short. Thrive, if he plays this right, I'm shocked he's not dropping a bunker, honestly, in the midst of this, and also cluttering up his front. And also investing in siege. Okay, he is investing in siege at the very least. SCV's making their way to the natural expansion. Now we have 3 dragoons. Only 3 mines. Oh, sorry, we got 5 mines. That is, if he builds a zealot in the space of this, there is a way to micro out of that. Firetip actually ahead in workers somehow in the midst of this. There's an engineering bay dropping on the front as well. A few dragoons taking some shots here on the corner, but this is going to be a heavy dragoon army very, very quickly. More mines plopping. The dragoon just trying to walk its way through to get rid of as many mines as possible. Dragoons still taking some shots. 3 more mines in the way. Definitely sandbagging and slowing this down quite a bit. Keep in mind, the 3 gateways pouring out dragoons fairly rapidly. 5 dragoon counts, usually the scarier space of this. Now the bunker being built and siege check is finished, so it looks like Thrive has managed to do it. So actually, ignore me. Executed that extremely well. Got the vultures out on the front, pushed the dragoons back, got the mines in the way, and now we have a group of dragoons that just has to sit and watch. And we've got a lot of clutter now spacing out the front that can provide some scouting information, also deny some counterattacks. We have additional siege tanks. Yeah, second siege tanks out that can go ahead and siege up here on the high ground, which is going to make it even more challenging. Not hugging the wall. Ooh, interesting. Does have the spotting. And Firetip in the situation going for it, but he's down to 4 dragoons, and that's enough to get a siege tank, but not a lot else. And has just started that natural. With this, actually, the 2 vultures able to sneak out to the corner. Speed is upgrading in the midst of this. You can go ahead and plop some mines and start poking away at this. If you can poke at the pylon. Do they have... Oh, never mind. They don't have any mines dropped. But they can start assaulting that pylon potentially. It looks like they're going to be able to sneak through the dragoons moving in to go ahead and protect this territory. This is a big liability for Firetip now. A double expansion here from Firetip. So playing very, very economically aggressive on the turn. He's actually not that far behind in the raw worker count. Thrive going up to 3 factory. This is just standard Protoss stuff, by the way. 5 dragoons out on the front. Natural expansion is going to come online. But this is certainly going to get lost once Vulture Speed's online, and we've got a few more factories in the midst of this. I want to see what Thrive's maneuver is into the space of that. He's actually even in supply. Robotics facility planting 2 more dragoons, going to filter out momentarily. I think 4 siege tanks with a little bit of Vulture support can easily poke away at this. And then I don't know that Firetip's going to have sufficient output to defend additional bases. The question is does Thrive play more aggressively into this, or is he going to play more passively and just go for a fast third, recognizing that Firetip is in a situation we really can't stop him from expanding as well? Be kind of a inverted meta play. It looks like he's going to go ahead and draw everything out, including the Marines alongside. Is he going to take a day trip here to the 3 o'clock? How many dragoons do we have out right this second? It looks like we have just shy of 10 at 9. Natural expansion is saturated. It looks like that 3 o'clock is saturating very rapidly. Firetip's actually been able to equalize things economically. And Thrive a little bit hesitant here to make his way in this location. Now working on that pylon. That pylon going to get absolutely annihilated. Once the pylon's gone, they can just ignore the rest of this and just proceed. Yeah, just proceed from here. Don't need to waste your time with this, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and do so anyway. Maybe thinking about grabbing this as the 3rd, I guess, would be the other way. So can apply continue. Now it's kind of a dangerous territory here for Firetip because he doesn't know whether this is turning into an expansion or whether this is going to be continuation aggression. Either direction, there's not a lot that he can do about it. 8 dragoons sort of sidling up to the front. If they went for a counterattack, that would be kind of an interesting, it'd be kind of an interesting trade situation. Some pylons dropping to buy some time near that 3rd. We got, how many siege tanks? We got 5 siege tanks, 7 vultures. They still have mines and a handful of Marines and a close reinforcement point. The 9 dragoons coming from the left-hand side. No mines planted as of yet. Now mines dropping. The siege tank's a little bit distracted. Okay, we got a single siege tank, and with those mines in the way, Firetip going to go ahead and back out. That's going to open up that 3 o'clock base, and that's going to drop. Now does Thrive push his luck here? because he probably could continue the assault. But I think the better part of Valor might just be moving the vultures, making sure that 12 o'clock hasn't been grabbed, and just grabbing an additional base himself to make sure there's no insane counterattack that happens in the space of this. And that should be just solid game lock from there. A lot of mines being plopped down. It looks like he wants to go for continuation aggression. We do have an observer out in the field. Oh, is it gonna die? Nothing going right for Firetip this game. Looks like he is moving. Gonna check out that 12 o'clock location. We have a gateway flood, yeah. In response, this is honestly too many. Well, actually, how many is this? 4. Yeah, too many gateways. 8. 8's usually about maximum production off 2 base. But maybe with a little bit of oversaturation of probes, it might be sufficient. I actually feel like 47 is pretty good count for 2 bases. Regardless, Thrive tightening the noose, continuing to pressure. Adding kind of that cement wall of Terran mech brick by brick here. And Firetip ceding ground ever so slightly to the siege tanks and the dragoons. Trying to clear it at mines as best he can. Is able to clear a bit of clutter, but does not have an answer for the siege tanks at close range. A few zealots now taking the field. They do have zealot leg speed. That will be helpful. Unfortunately, they cannot just sit there like that. Every unit counts at this stage. We've got 5 factories behind this. And excellent positioning here for Thrive. I think Thrive is walking into a easy victory game 1. A shuttle has been produced here from Firetip, so maybe some zealot bombs will be the answer. Tank's not fully sieged yet. The turret's completing. The zealot's getting good timing on that zealot siege. The vultures are blocking the rear siege tanks, but this might be enough to clear out this front. Unfortunately, even clearing this out, the secondary problem is okay, yeah, you reset Thrive's mech briefly. This is still 2 base versus 2 base. Do we have an armory? It looks like a 3rd command center being built. No armory at the very least. Never mind, we do have an armory. +1 weapons is a double armory. +1 weapons, +1 armor has not been queued up yet. But as I say that, some vultures have managed to sneak through the lines. There was a pylon drop to try to defend it, and that actually created an additional blockade. Firetip now down to 42 workers. Mines also taking out dragoons in between. The zealots need to be careful where they step, because otherwise they might accidentally draw some mines into some probes. Got a little bit lucky there. This is finally going to get cleaned up, but this is also Thrive playing fantastically here. Curious who played in round 1. Scooting up to the 3 o'clock location is easily going to be able to seal that up. Observer scooting it down is going to see a decent amount of siege tanks in between. Are we running at 3 machine shops yet? That would be a little bit early for it. Still on 5 factories, 2 machine shops. We have double upgrades running, likely cutting into the, and let's see if the cruft adds here. Yeah, Thrive going to go ahead and prioritize that, just because the one way to get back into this would be an all-out suicide attack here from Firetip. He is moving into the 12 o'clock location. That's just the location that Thrive needs to keep checking. And it looks like that probe is going to get caught. Do we have mines here? We do have some mines that can get planted, and that probe, yeah, going to get assassinated immediately. Maduro style, I guess. Politics! Gotta throw it out there. Supply depots now sufficiently in the way. Mines still blockading the upper 3 o'clock location, which is going to deny that base to Firetip. So between this, the vultures at multiple positions, the only option for Firetip is to assault into Thrive's army. And Thrive has all the cruft here, a lot of siege tanks, and pretty good vision. And this is going to kind of effectively work as a funnel. Firetip clearing out the vultures at the 12 o'clock. It looks like he's going to try to limp a 3rd nexus well behind Thrive's 3rd nexus. No 3rd gas tacked on as of yet. The observer at least is able to see the factory count is still sitting at 5. So there is a world where the dragoons are able to clear out here. We see an additional base grab, and the gateway unit count is able to fill in things rapidly. The vultures from Thrive being fantastic, filling in the gap. It looks like they're going to go ahead and get some mines down as well. The reinforcing zealots mostly going to be cleared out. But this is still extra damage on the Zealot lines. He really wants to be able to sneak into that natural and peel back some probes, and might have an opportunity to do so. The front's been opened, and 3 vultures now sidling back into the main. And more probes gonna get assaulted. This is turning into a mess. The Zealots, at the very least, able to create some distraction. But Firetip now sitting at 45 with the additional base he's grabbing at the 12 o'clock. He'll immediately just have to saturate with the probes he's already had dispatched. And Thrive not missing a beat. He's playing really, really well here. Scooting right back out, dropping some more mines, able to check that 12 o'clock. If nothing else, that'll delay a probe maneuver that direction. He has not increased the factory count just yet, but he's starting to do so now. He's ahead 20 supply. He's got +1 weapons online, +1 armor, is not that far behind. A little bit slow queuing +2. And you can see Firetip desperately trying to get some additional area cleared so he can grab some form of base. Look at Thrive. Is this a Manor command center? Might call it that. Dropping some additional command centers just out on the map. I think he knows he's in a really solid position. Firetip checking the 6 o'clock. Checking bottom left. I don't know that he's going to find this command center, though. I want to say this is troll, because it probably is. But I also want to say this is actually kind of clever, too. Because if Firetip is thinking like, oh yeah, I'll just sneak a bunch of Nexuses and then out macro at some other point, guess again, Thrive's already got some additional bases potentially up and online out in the map. And if he starts mining here, this is basically taking minerals out of the pocket of Firetip if he was going to do any sort of turnaround of additional supply. I will say that Firetip might be a little bit confused by the factory count right this second, because we're still sitting on 3 bases and we're still sitting on 6 factories. But regardless, Thrive is still well ahead economically. He's well ahead as far as army count, and he's got the upgrade lead as well. Starting to maneuver back towards that gap. He's got a good amount of Goliaths to swat any sort of shuttles out of the air. We do have some High Templar in place. How many storms do we got? Maybe 3 or 4 storms? I think we got about 4 storms available. Presuming all of them go. There's 1, 2, able to get a good bulk of that army. Really clearing out the middle, but it looks like that's going to be it before they're dispatched. The probe's also getting wiped out mid-map. Thrive actually not trading very well in the midst of this. 2 shuttles able to wander up and get on top of these siege tanks, but it actually doesn't matter. As long as he's killing some of Firetip's troops, he can just replenish this army much more efficiently. Mine's also placating that probe out top left, and actually even won that fight. Are you kidding me? I was not expecting, I was expecting those siege tanks to get cleared up, so that will be a dead 12 o'clock location now, and that should be GG at this stage. Firetip cannot defend any of this. He's got mines he's got to get through to even try to get towards these siege tanks, and that's presuming he's going to have an army of sufficient size to deal with the siege tanks, which he does not. So the 12 o'clock's gone. The Vulture's going to make their way top left. We have a couple cannons in the way, but that's not going to get a lot accomplished. Looks like he's got 1 more grouping of a bomb he's hoping to make work, and we got more factories building top left, and Thrive grabbing that expansion as well. So in a pretty good spot. Shuttles looking to bomb. Immediate unsiege. Didn't even need to have them sieged up to deal with these Zealots. So that's going to clear out. Vulture's clearing out probes in the meantime. And this probe just sitting there wanting to grab a Nexus but can't because there's a mine in the way. The cannons have been cleared out by Vultures alone, it looks like top left. And 2 probes have actually halted mining in the midst of this. So now we've got the natural expansion only mining. I am a little bit shocked that Firetip is not GG'd yet. He's down to 31 workers here. Maybe trying to reassess. It looks like a Zealot did manage to find the command center bottom left, but and managed to get a few kills. We're having like a drone drill action here. That's been wiped out on top of everything else. Insult to injury, a Zealot dying to an SCV. Rare occurrence. And that should be all she wrote. Double the supply now for Thrive. Plus 2 weapons just finishing. We have an Arbiter being constructed. I don't know what that's going to accomplish though at this stage. We have Comsat. We do have Comsat. And we got full energy to work with as well. A few High Templar. Might be able to deal with this army, but it's not going to be able to deal with the follow-up armies. Single Psy Storm drops. 2 Psy Storms. Are we going to get a third? No third Psy Storm, however, in the midst of this. And it looks like the Goliaths are going to be able to clear that out. So Firetip GG's. We will move on to game 2, but Thrive looking strong game 1, I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.